quick. And we have an RA on duty binder, and it will be in your mailroom. And inside of it is this little pouch thing, and you have your RA on duty cell phone, which you need to turn on right away and make sure it's charged throughout the night. And then you have guest cards, which are for off-campus residents or off-campus people that are staying on campus in the residence halls. And then you have your write-up slips. Okay. So if you use all of this in one night, make sure you restock it the next morning for the next RA, so it's ready to go. Okay. Then you have your RA on duty check-in sheet. Thank you, Brandon. And you write your name and the date when you begin each round. Have the desk worker sign it when you end the round, and the desk worker sign it again. So when you do your midnight round and on the weekends your 2 a.m. round, you'll have the night security sign off, and they're used to that. So, and you actually, I think, have to sign off on something in theirs too. No, they just put who's on duty. So, you'll just do that form. Here's the checklist which I gave you, so it is in here for you to reference if you need to. And then this is the staff listing, and it has all RAs, RGs, and the housing staff's phone numbers on it. We have room numbers, the room phone numbers, personal cell phone numbers, and emails. It's illegal to give out personal cell phone numbers, and that's so just give the room numbers. If they say, I really need to come to you and say, I really need to get a hold of my RA, what's her phone number? Say, I can't give that to you, but I can send them a message, and they can, if you have texting, you can text that RA and say, so-and-so needs to get in touch with you, his number is whatever, or, you know, that kind of thing. So don't ever give out that information. In emergency situations, here's a little guideline for you. RD's numbers, counseling, nurse, whatever, but most of the time you'll just call the RD anyway, and we'll take care of it from there. So here's the guidelines. I'm going to skip over the phone thing because I don't even think you have one. For your reference is the job description, RA job description, which Tammy went over this morning, as well as the senior RA job description, and these are also on the group page, which we discussed this morning. So, and so is the manual, so that's in here for your reference as well. Each week, at least, sometimes daily, the floor plan changes. So we keep an updated copy for you in your binder, so that when you are working the desk or doing your rounds, you know who's where in which rooms, okay? Then we have the RA on duty log, and it is vital that you write on this on duty log. There are the little guidelines up here on what you should do for each round and stuff, but they're also on the checklist. Observe the building and who is where in. Okay. Observe the building and who is where within the building and when. It's important that you make notes when you're doing the rounds in case issues arise later. Okay. That maybe you weren't around for. And then this is just so that, like, if you note that so-and-so's cooking in the kitchen, and then maybe something happened out in the lobby or whatever, but no one saw really what happened in the lobby, then this would know that maybe I need to go talk to Susie who was in the kitchen, and maybe she saw or heard something. Okay, so it is important for you to get to know your residents, put names with faces, even if they aren't your residents. Try to know a majority of who's in your hall. Okay. In the building. So you'll do that each round. And then we also added last year a warning log, and this is just so, like, if somebody, it can be for anything, noise, or they're kicking the soccer ball up and down the floor or the hallway, and you kind of told them they need to cool it a little bit or whatever, quiet hours, that kind of thing. This is your communicator with the next RA on duty, so that the kids aren't getting away with things over and over and over again. Okay? So that's just how we handle that. So then we know at what point do we write them up, right? Okay, so that is the binder. Does anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay. So we're just going to go over the checklist now. So at 7 p.m., you pick up the RA on duty binder, turn on the phone, and then you'll hang your on duty sign, and that's the one there's your picture on it, and you'll hang that up at the front desk. Okay, so everyone knows who they're calling when they call this phone if they need to. Okay, at this time, you'll contact your RD and let them know that you're on duty. If they're not home, you can call them on their cell phone from this cell phone. This cell phone doesn't text, just so you know. So to call them and let them know, and if the RD doesn't have the phone because they're off, the senior RA will. So you'll get somebody so they know that you're on duty, okay? I know that some RAs and RDs did this, some didn't, the calling. So it's kind of a preference of the RD. Half of my kids did it, half RAs did it, half of them didn't. But being right there, we kind of know that you guys are coming in because we can hear the doors and that kind of thing. And some of all seniors you might not be able to. So then you have the desk worker sign off when you've started and completed your rounds. And then after your round, you let them know if you're going to be anywhere else, if you're not going to be in your room. You let them know, hey, I'm going to go down and work out, or I'm going to be down in the basement playing ping pong, or I'm going to run over to the red room, or whatever, so that they know where you're at if something should happen. You also lock all of the doors at 7 p.m. And on the one side of the fob door, you don't have to do anything with that crash bar because it automatically locks and unlocks on its own. Okay? It'll lock at 7 p.m. and unlock at 7 a.m. So don't mess with that door, but all of the other doors you need to lock. So your front doors, your end doors, and Andrew's that one side of the breezeway door, and Ken the other side of the breezeway door, that kind of, okay? And then I put approximately 9:45, and the reason I did that for your next round is because at 10 o'clock you're required to sit at the desk. So from 10 to 11, when you're on duty, you're required to sit at the desk. So that way you're not continually late. It's not fair if you always show up at 10:10 and only work until 11, and and the other already show up at 10. So try and have your round done or close to done so that you can get there as close to 10 as possible. If your round takes longer, you're handling something, then text another RA and say, hey, can you go cover the desk for me for 5-10 minutes? Because we can't have the desk being unattended, okay? So then you have your desk worker sign off again on when you start and then again when you finish. You go on your rounds. At this time, you should tell people of quiet hours if they are in effect, that quiet hours are in effect, and if it's a weekend or a weeknight, and that they should keep it down and be respectful of others. Let them know that they can either shut their door, they can go to a commons area, the red room, let them know where they can go to be loud if they want to. It is your responsibility to cover the desk, like I said, from 10 to 11. So again, if your rounds take longer, make sure you find someone to cover for you so that it's not left unattended. Answer the phone and help residents as needed. You should also watch who is coming and going, check IDs, and make appropriate notes in the book. So until you know for a fact that you know all of your residents, you should be asking for their IDs, okay? And matching it to the floor plan. If they just say, well, I live here, and just keep walking, yeah, okay, but I still, I don't know you yet. I need to just double check. So make sure you're checking IDs and being very attentive to that. Security arrives at 11 p.m. and at that time you may leave. Make sure you talk to the security and let them know that you're on duty and where you can be reached for the remainder of the night if you're not going to be in your room again, like if you're going to be in the lab or whatever. So if the security does not show up by 11:10, contact your RD so that they can get someone there. And what I found this summer is that by 10 after 11, already their first check-in call, because they get check-in calls like every hour, is coming through. And so if they're not there yet, answer that phone and just say Enoch Hall or Andrews Hall, whatever, and it's RA speaking. And sometimes they don't hear you say this is an RA speaking, and they think they just say this is your check-in call, and then just let them know this is an RA, your security's not here yet, and they will send a rover or somebody to sit at the desk until that person can get there. But you still need to wait. Now if you're waiting well until 11, 15, 20, 30, whatever, then let your RD know, and then we'll take care of it from there. Okay? Unless you are willing to sit until they wait, if you have to do another round at midnight anyway. But it's not, you shouldn't have to sit there that long. But they're usually pretty quick about getting someone there. And then at approximately 12 a.m., you have the security sign again, do your whole round. When you're doing your rounds, make sure you check every nook and cranny of that building. And make sure that even if the basement ends, there's nothing there except an empty stairwell, and underneath the stairs, you go all the way down and look underneath the stairs. You don't want someone to have found their way down there, wasted, and can't find their way back up, and they're puking or what have you. So you want to make sure that there's no one down there. Make sure you check all the lobbies, the kitchens, the bathrooms, every nook and cranny of your building. And anything out of the ordinary goes on the on-duty log. And like I said, even if it's not out of the ordinary, it's 2 in the morning and so-and-so's in cooking something, let us know in case maybe that person's a little bit more tipsy than we thought and the stove ends up on fire, or something like that. So just make sure you're making notes. Documentation is key in any job that you will do from here on out, so make sure that you document, okay? And then at 7 a.m., you do not have to do a round at 7 a.m. You just go through and you unlock the doors and turn off the phone and then put the book right back where you got it, so the next RA has it and is ready to go. If you used all the violation reports or they're getting low, just go ahead and restock that kind of stuff. If you needed to use the master key for any reason, typically it's just going to be to unlock someone's door for them. There is a clipboard close to your lockbox, and you need to sign in out. Put your name, the time in, time out, and the reason. Don't just put had to unlock a door, a room door. Put whose door you had to unlock, okay? Because if it's continually a problem, then we can address that too. And like I said, it's vital that you document in the on-duty log and on the warning log so that we're not letting people get away with things that continually happen and shouldn't. Anybody have any questions so far? Am I missing anything? Cassie, Nate, John? You're throwing me off with everything. What?
Just the building floors,
Yeah. Yeah, you'll all, I mean, this is just the general idea of it all, but you'll get more building specific stuff, later on, okay? We are going to go over other things that you can do at the desk. Sorry, we're not quite done yet. Like I said earlier in your observation reports, if anyone comes to you and asks, don't just say, I don't know. Make sure, and when you're at the desk, look, be presentable. Try not to be all kicked back and half asleep. Make sure you're there to work. You're there to observe. You're there to be attentive. You're there to help. You're there to answer the phone, answer questions, what have you. Okay. Then on your desk somewhere, some have clipboards, some have binders. It's building specific. A lot of it is. You have a visitor sign-in sheet. So any and everybody that does not live in your hall needs to sign in all throughout the day. Someone will say, oh, I just thought it was from 7 p.m. on. It's not. It's all throughout the day. So even like the Pepsi guy should be signing in. If Sherry, our housing director, walks in, she should be signing in, and would be grateful that you remind her to sign in, because then she knows you're doing your job. So if Dr. Ryan walks in, he should be signing in. Anybody that does not live there. Parents should be signing in. Have them sign in. If they look like they're in a uniform or a maintenance guy, you don't have to take it as that's what they are, because it's kind of easy to put on that outfit, and then they could not be, it could be somebody else that we do not want in the building. So make sure that you ask everybody to sign in. And if they tell you they live there, verify. Guest log, is for a different reason. It's for those that are staying the night, so they will have filled out a great guest card as well. Okay, so they can sign in this one, but if they're staying the night, they need to sign this one. Okay, and some people do get it confused. You probably need to name it different. I don't know. And then the maintenance request form is on your desk somewhere, and this is for residents who have issues with their light bulb burnt out, their sink is clogged, their toilet constantly runs, their drawer, the handle on their drawer broke and they aren't able to fix it, their closet door came off the track. Whatever is wrong with their room, they need to write it down here, and this is our communicator. We call in as RDs, we call in about 8 o'clock every morning the issues that are on here that we need maintenance to come fix. Know though that we do campus-wide only have one plumber. We only have one electrician. We have a few maintenance guys that come and do the hardware stuff. Then we have maybe 2 painters. So I mean, we're very limited, and so it might take a few days. They don't let them expect for it to be done right away. And if it's a week or 2 down the road, and they tell you again, have them write it down again. We'll call it in again, and then just we never talk poorly about the maintenance staff. We are the buffer between the two and say, okay, well, you know, they probably are really busy. I'll call it in again, and we'll get it taken care of as soon as possible. Okay, so just kind of be that buffer so that no one's upset. Okay, if it's something like a light bulb or whatever, then we don't even have to call it in. Custodians can handle some of this, and the custodians look at this too every morning so that they know what to do. Okay. And then each building has different items that they can check out. Some do pots and pans for the kitchen, some do ping pong paddles, I don't know, what are some other things, different things. So if you have those items, and again, it's building specific, you have them put the date and the time, the room number, the items that they're checking out, and when they return. You also collect their student ID at the time that they check it out, and then they get their student ID when they return it. If they leave without picking up their student ID and returning the stuff, if they left the ping pong paddle out there, go grab it and hang on to their ID. Chances are they left in a hurry and realized they had to be in class, and they'll come back for it. Or if they decided they wanted a pot and pan for themselves, then we know it wasn't returned, and they may go pay $5 for another ID, but at least we can track it this way on where it might be. Does that make sense? Any questions? Did I miss anything? No? I think that's all I have.